It says we're live, and we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another political recap stream after a 2-week hiatus. We apologise, but we have no excuse for that, actually. We just can't bother to think of anything clever.
My car broke.
He's lying. He was playing D&D.
That's okay. We didn't reschedule because I was playing D&D.
That's true. No, I did know, but that's
this
okay.
This is half true.
That is half true, actually, yeah. Joining me as always for this weekly roundup of politics, US and UK, is the gorgeous TrupsLP. Say hello, Judge Trupsy Wupsy.
Hello, Judge Trupsy Wupsy.
It's your name on Discord.
You got it. Oh, that's right. That's Karma's fault.
It's Karma's fault, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we were actually prepping for D&D one night, or no, it was the day before, and oh, you know what? It might not have been Karma. It was somebody. It was somebody in that D&D group.
I'm sure it was somebody there.
It may have been Keith. Or Karma.
You know,
one of the two.
Sure, it's somebody on Moistonia's fault. But it wasn't mine.
I'll
tell you what was funny thing is, I was sat in it had to be Joe or Leona then. I was sat in a VC and I looked across at who was online, and the first thing I said was, Judge Trupsy Wupsy? And people started laughing. I'm like, wait, what? I've missed something here. Oh, it was just Leona, yeah. Ignore that.
Yeah, because this was the day. Everything's broken.
I dropped a spoon.
No, it would because it all happened the day before we were slotted to play D&D.
Right.
I think Karma had already gone to bed.
That's fair.
Anyway, point was, they decided that would be a wise thing, and I didn't care, so I just left it.
So how is Trups anyway now that his car has been fixed and he is, doing stuff? Chaos. The server is a patron-only server. I do apologise if that is a problem. It's more just so I can at least then talk to my patrons, which is difficult. I do call him Trups all the time. So how is Trups? Sorry.
Trups is not going to be here next week because Trups is traveling for work. I will be gone. So unfortunately, to everyone in the chat, I apologize. We will not be able to do a live debate response.
But,
however, we are mulling over the idea that we may do a special report after the fact once I get back home, where we will go through it anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then.
So perhaps we should dive into this perhaps we should dive into this as a first thing, because I was led to believe there was not going to be any debates, but I get the impression there is now going to be a debate. What is this debate? Is it going to be on Joe Rogan's?
Oh no, this is the I believe it's not the MSNBC one. It's one of the alphabets. It's not the CNN one though.
ABC.
It's one of the ABC. It might be the ABC.
It might be ABC. One. It might literally be alphabet.
Yes, that would be appropriate. But so the controversy, I suppose, where Joe Rogan had offered to host a debate on Twitter, and I believe it was President Trump's campaign staff, like one of his campaign managers on social media, reposted it almost as like a hype thing for a UFC fight.
Oh, really?
And he was like, "Who wants to see Trump and Joe go head to head on Joe Rogan's show?" And Trump retweeted it and was like, "I do."
I saw that. So the funny thing with what is, if it was on Joe Rogan's, I think it would be and I'm not, because I've seen your debates and they are somewhat. I'll be honest, they're better than UK ones because our presenters can never seem to control the. They're meant to be the person that controls the debate, in the sense of stopping people from just running over time. Yours seem to be very much within time, and although I do think Trump does have a tendency to shit on it.
But they're political theater.
Yes, that is true.
They're not real debates. They're not real.
It's a pantomime.
They're fake they're pantomiming basically their same election
Pause.
pitch that's on their website, right? And they're basically fed the stupid question like, what is your stance on coronavirus? And Joe Biden's like, it's bad, we're gonna fix it, masks for everybody. And Trump's like, no, we'll fix it, it'll be fine, we'll be great, we'll kill it, it'll be dead like Qasem Soleimani, it'll be
Two
dead.
things.
So dead.
That reminds me of the poisoning the well video when Trump won and Fat Pat dressed as Trump and did all this amazing skit shit as Trump, pissing off Sophane. Fantastic video. Second, Karma, thank you for the $5 donation to TrupsLP for the car, Trupsy Wupsy. That's very kind of you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I actually have to get my calipers replaced as well.
Oh, really? So that does actually help. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap.
You appreciate it.
So the debate, it's going to happen. That's great. Is it just the one, or do we get more than one? I assume just one.
Three.
We get three.
You get three. Yes.
How? With the
This
time
is
you
the
have left.
First of three. Yeah.
I'm sorry, okay.
You do.
Okay.
They're like They're like set up a year in advance.
Right.
And they are they're basically spread out, so you have, I believe it's ABC, CNN, and Fox get each one.
Okay.
And I think the logic behind it is that everyone gets a fair shot so that no one can complain of bias.
Okay.
Because they get to appoint their own moderator.
Right.
So honestly, if it
Now
were
I want to
me,
see the Rogan
I would say throw Brett Baer at
A bear.
the Fox one.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty good. Like a lot of people, like he has on Democrats pretty much every night. Because now, whenever I'm driving home, I end up listening to Fox News, so I'll listen to Special Report. And you know what? I give him a lot of credit. He blasts like Republicans too. Like he'll dig into them.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was kind of rude that he did that, but then I realized that he's actually doing his job.
Okay. Before you continue, thank you, the chair or Karma, for the £5 donation. Creek. That was for you. That's very kind of you. All good. Yeah, my chair.
I understand. I have.
Knob Creek.
Wow. Oh, I do have that. That's why I'm stuttering.
I figured. I haven't opened any of my booze. It's all next to me. I was gonna work out which was which.
So yeah, we'll get three.
That's good news. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So if we don't get this one, we'll get the next one.
But I'd like one real debate.
Well, yeah, we gotta get at least one live so that we can get absolutely hammered.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing this
now,
to,
The lineup for topics on this debate is pretty intense because right now the lineup for topics, I believe, is coronavirus, healthcare, which is kind of related to coronavirus, Supreme Court, election integrity, and China, I think.
Okay, so I had heard that in the US, Trump had announced something to some kind of US medical bill, medical care bill of some kind. So I'm kind of, I'm not entirely sure just what that was about though. It was him announcing something, and I kind of missed it.
Okay, so interesting story about this is that, well, hold on. First, the actual topics I made sure to check. The topics are Trump and Biden's records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. So I apologize. Healthcare is not in there. That was me lying.
Okay, that's fine. Can I then just interject them in on my server? I have a tab. We have a tab where Trups and I dump sources, or I dump them. He sends them to me over Facebook Messenger. And I put some videos in there.
I can't access Discord on my proxy.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter in the slightest. I put some videos in there. I thought I'd quickly just explain to you what happened in each of them to get your thoughts. Because this might... I don't know. There are some...
Oh, God.
Some pictures going around of Yeah, you got it now, right? There's some pictures going
I'm
around.
looking at 'em, yeah.
Yeah. There's some pictures going around saying, "Oh, Biden's going to do all this, and the entire U.S. turns into blue except for one or two states." Firstly, that's never going to happen. I don't think that ever happens anyway. So people think Biden will win, but then earlier in the week, he recited the Pledge of Allegiance and got it wrong. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but don't most Americans, if not all, know the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. In fact, it's instilled in you from the point where you enter into public school.
So can I now put you under a bit of pressure? Because I don't know it because I'm English. Can you tell me what it is?
Okay, it's I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible. Yeah, I know the rest of it.
liberty
Yeah.
and justice for all.
Yeah. Turns out I did know it because I heard The Rock say it once after Biden got took out, and I remembered it. Yeah, Biden.
I actually had to take off my headphones and actually
Bin Laden. Did I say
do
Biden
the
took out?
motion.
I meant Bin Laden, not Biden. I think I might have fucked that.
Cyrene, question for Trups. Odds of Amy Coney Barrett joining the Supreme Court. I think very high because I don't think the Senate is playing this fucking game right now.
Right. Trump did say it will be a woman. He did say that. So, from what I'd heard, her name was right at the top. They want to get it through, and that seems likely then, I guess.
Oh yeah, there are even some Democrats who are like, no, we're putting through a justice. We're not playing this game.
Yeah. Okay, so in that list of videos, there were others as well that I thought we'd quickly address. Firstly, it was Pelosi having a moment. She was on TV interview. She was answering a question. Then the presenter asked her another question, and she then just spoke as if the conversation had just started by saying, "Good morning." I was a bit confused by this, so I thought I'd just share that for a moment because, yeah, there was one other video where Pelosi was giving a speech, and I'm not going to rail on just Democrats. I promise. I'm sure I'll figure something out to mock Trump for. Just opening his mouth generally, he says something stupid eventually, but it's normally laughable because at least he's actually constructed a sentence. Where she was speaking, and Nadler. Did you see that video where he turned and it looked like he could barely stand? What the fuck is he still doing there? People were saying in responses he needs to go home. Yeah, it looks like he needs to go home. I'm not saying I don't want to be mean to him, but you didn't look good. You need to rest. You may have a civic duty in your mind.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, you may have a civic duty, but I don't care about what party you are. If something's wrong with your health, which you clearly had, unless you were trying desperately to like wiggle something inside that needed wiggling, there's no reason for you to like walk as if you're about to fall over.
I love how the cameraman was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they panned, didn't they? Yeah.
Here?
And
he zooms out and everything like the.
It's not. I promise this isn't a criticism of Nadler. It's concerned for his health, because that didn't look good. It looked like you needed to go home and stop. I'm sure he still mentally, can still function, but if you can't walk, get a wheelchair or something.
Well, the thing is, if it is Parkinson's, and the only reason I say it is because the way he moves is very. I hate.
Well, actually,
it
was.
It's.
Yeah, no.
It looks like brain damage. And the only reason I know this is because my grandmother had Parkinson's, and I remember her, like, bless her heart, and I love her, and God rest her soul, and all that. But whenever I would go to her house, she would feed us. Even when she had Parkinson's, she fucking cooked, dude. She didn't care. She did it because this is what she believed that she had to do, and I think it actually helped a little bit.
Right.
It helps keep them sane because once they had gone into a home, basically they didn't have much time left after that.
Okay.
But she would serve, and she would basically she would understand that her body was rocking and doing it, and so she would scoop it. She'd hold it over to the plate until she figured that she could time it and place it. And I was like, "Can I help you?" She's like, "No, I got it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
See, I knew Nadler. I'm not saying he walks funny, but there was a video of him discussing certain issues in the country. We discussed it before, where he didn't listen to the guy who was speaking and just he clearly had this very DC mentality that seemed very narrow and not understanding of the entire country, the issues of a nation. And when he walked to the car, his arms were behind him as he walked. It was like slouched backwards and a bit off. And I just, maybe it's his balance. I don't know. I was concerned, and I saw the clip and thought,
check what his age is because I'm curious.
Must be.
He's 73, so I mean, as far as statistics go, he's already breaking, the rule for men in this country.
65, isn't it?
I think it's like 71.
So this handily brings up the subject I wanted to quickly mention. That was the Democracy Act that was behind him. Did you see that at all?
Hang on. Let me pull it up a little bit. I can't read that shit. It's fucking 280p.
Oh, jeez, it is, isn't it? Oh,
yeah, I can't
apologies.
read it. But if you want to tell me about it,
no, because I thought you might know about it. Let me just have a quick look. Democracy Act, Pelosi. I do apologise. Changes to future presidential abuses. Yeah. That's what it is.
Okay.
I will go onto the site.
What the fuck does that mean?
Let's have a look. What are the changes? What are they? The Protecting Our Democracy Act is being rolled out almost a year to the day after Pelosi announced the House will pursue impeachment charges against the president. Includes several provisions for speeding up judicial rulings on congressional subpoenas and emoluments. Emoluments? Is that what they're called? I've never seen that word before. In which the House or Senate alleges that a federal official violated constitutional prohibitions on accepting gifts without congressional permission. The bill states that both types of cases should be decided by a panel of 3 judges, and that any appeal should go directly to the Supreme Court. Let's see. So it's okay. The package mirrors measures to better regulate relationship between the White House and the Justice Department, apparently. They also limit the president's ability to interfere with congressional appropriations by putting a time limit on emergency declarations and prohibiting the president from holding back congressionally approved funding any later than 90 days before it expires. That sounds like a funding thing to stop them from negotiating courtesy of a shutdown, doesn't it?
Kind of, and you know what? I'm on the surface, the things that I'm hearing sound fair, and here's why.
Okay.
So the idea that the executive branch should not have superseding authority outside or whenever they feel like it to infringe on the legislative's right to basically handle the finances. They are the purse. I believe it. I forget the actual phrasing, but there's like a
the bank
colloquial phrasing. Yeah, there's a colloquial phrasing. It's like
we just call them the bank.
They have the power of the purse. That's what it is. Power of the purse.
Power of the purse. The coin purse. Yes.
Yeah. And that is constitutionally given to Congress. So I'm kind of down with the idea that we would restrict the executive branch's power to basically mull over or change or manipulate that constitutional authority.
Right.
I'm kind of down for that. The irony here is that there are times where Democrats will stand up and they will present something, and they will say, this is completely, in protection of the Constitution, right? They will present something like that, and you will find that invariably, when the Democrats do something that, at least in their mind, is trying to spite that guy that they don't like, they basically get bit in the ass. Actually, Zayo's just said it. It's going to bite the libs in the ass the next time. Yeah, Chaos.
Yes, I had to ask him just for clarity on Twitch, I think it was.
Thank you. Sorry. It's going to bite them in the ass the next time they want to overstep, let's be real. Yes. They've done it before, and they're going to do it again. They're trying to spite Trump, but they don't realize that they're strengthening the separation of powers, which is, at least by my view of their actions, is directly contradictory to trying to impose authoritarian rule.
I, for the sake of it, by the way, just because while you were talking, I was having a think. I kind of support these measures. I like this idea of, because we don't operate the way you do. There has to be a separation, and I think, yeah, what I've said, so not all of it, but yeah, it's reasonable to get things done. I do think this is like okay, so there isn't really an equivalent in UK for this, but there is something similar where Labour want to, every time they try and get elected, they desperately want to ban all private schools because they all went to private schools. They want to take the ladder out from underneath them, not realizing that, you know,
so they basically want to keep their elitist status.
Yes, but the problem is, by doing so, they then handicap the next generation of Labour MPs, I guess, by their own logic, because they think that people who went to private school have some kind of,
in my opinion, hold on, that sounds like a great idea. Let's remove private schools. Then all the rich people, they get to have a vested interest in the public schools being pretty good, right? That means all the elites don't get to fob off public schools in lieu of, well, I don't even send my kid there, so why do I give a fuck?
Yep.
So that sounds like a great idea, Labour. Thank you.
They're right.
Let's get rid of private schools.
There is a point to this, though, because a lot of the UK schools are called academies now, and they do receive funding, and some of it is private, but they're considered public schools, which means, oh wait, that vested interest is just a very wealthy parent ensuring their kid gets a leg up, even in public school. What retards. But I do tend to agree.
I went to public school, and
so did I.
Don't get me wrong, in my town, there were... So you had public school number 1. You had private academy for the smarty smarts. You had Catholic sports school. And then you had Catholic school for girls.
Okay.
So those were your options. So that means that most dudes in those 4 towns went to public school. I was one of those. That school's pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think some of the teachers are assholes, but then again,
there's
I
always
think it's 70% of teachers are Democrats. There's
always that level of like elitism when it comes to certain establishments. Okay, so in where I grew up, there was Reigate Secondary School, Oakwood Secondary School, Warwick, and I can't remember the name. It was a 4th one, St Bede's, that's it. And then there was Reigate Grammar School. Now, I was going to go to grammar school, but there were issues and I had to leave and go to regular because of family breaking up. Don't know why that happened. It didn't matter, though, because I was in the top 2% of my year for all 4 schools. Because all 4 of the major comprehensives were rivals. And so we had inter-school things, which is great, because it was always nice to remind them that you're smarter than them and then run home because it's your only safe outlet. There weren't any private schools around, though. Nearest private schools were, in London or further away, because it just, that's a lot of money to spend to send someone to get a better education, when in reality, you still get a good education. Now, parents when I was a kid said, "Oh, it's gotten easier, and I've looked at it and gone, "Fam, your education was fucking easy." Okay, mine was easy because I was smart, but then I looked at my nieces, and I actually, Dally on my server, he mentioned his education, so I bothered to go and look at some of the old exam papers for his, when, like him and just after when he left, and I realised, education's gotten a lot harder. And I'm sat here thinking, that's
yeah, it has.
And I'm sat here like, that's fucking brilliant. I'm so happy because, yes, we are now aware kids are a lot smarter at a younger age, and we can harness that and make them into better than us. That's what we want, isn't it? It doesn't matter if it's public school, private school, whatever. It doesn't matter. as long as they get a fair education where they can actually try and shine. Because I didn't get the opportunities when I was younger. I had to wait for people to catch up. I'm not salty about that. It's just what it was. Now I get to sit back and know that the opportunities will be there for them, and it's just comprehensive. I'm not against private schools, by the way. If you want to send your kid to a private school, go fucking nuts. I don't give a shit. It's your money, not mine. I don't have kids. I don't care. I really don't. And I don't see a point in legislating to ban them. But it's the nearest comparison we have to people, taking the ladder up from behind them, which is what it appears to be with the US. At first observation, anyway. But I think
I think that's pretty right, though. At least in terms of trying to remove private schools. I mean, I don't think that it's going to happen because, like Chaos said, a lot of private schools are Catholic schools.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's a lot easier to fund those because if you have a church on your property, you don't have to pay property taxes on that land, and you get reduced property taxes on the remainder of the land that is associated. Because a Catholic or a religious place of learning is technically a different taxable place than your typical real estate. That's why a lot of very, very large colleges in this country are public schools because they are state subsidized.
There's the rules about if you're state subsidized, you have to buy. I know about this because I remember looking at Title IX stuff. Can I go back to the election stuff for a moment? Because there was one more video that we didn't talk about that's in our little tab. It concerns the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah, I see that.
So I'll explain what happened. Meghan Markle and Harry speak for about 2 minutes. Meghan mentions every 4 years people say this is the most important election of our lifetime. But this one is the most important election of our lifetime because we must not let hate and misinformation win. And Harry then chimes in and says, because of the life I've lived, I've never been able to vote. But I understand how important it is now for you to vote. Right, so the problem with this, there are a number of problems. The first one is, this is a direct breach of royal protocol. No joke, the royals are not permitted to talk about politics in this manner or take a side. But in this, they have, and they've
hasn't he been denounced by the royal family?
No. He'll always be a royal. It's more they've gone MGTOW essentially. They've gone their own way, and signed a fucking massive deal with Spotify. Or was it Netflix? Doesn't matter. I think it was Netflix actually. The point is they've taken a side, and by doing so, they've called the president of the US fake news, and someone that inspires and instills hate in the nation. And that the only person that can save you now is a man that can't remember the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yay, America.
A man who can't... No offense, people give Trump shit for stuff he says, but at least he completes a fucking sentence.
Not only that, but he does a lot of speeches, and he's done 2 today. He did a Hispanics for Trump, and then an African-American one.
Also, people are saying,
today.
People aren't talking about, they had a rally in Ohio. I saw fuck all coverage of this, and then when I finally saw some, I knew why. The venue was sold out. It was just packed. No one talked about that. And I was sitting thinking, I know why, because you really want to get those empty seats again, don't you? And look, you want to beat Trump, I maintain what I've said before. Beat him on policy. This idea, the Democracy Act thing, that's actually something really interesting to talk about. Genuinely, from a political standpoint, that's fantastic, and that's something the Democrats are pushing for. That's interesting. That's good. This bullshit is not. And yes, I know someone might say, yeah, but Trump talks a lot of shit. Yes, but I can understand the shit. And people who are Democrats that can't take a little criticism of Biden, seriously, I'm happy to give Trump shit for some of the crap he says. I'm happy to give Biden shit because seriously, he shouldn't be your nominee. Fuck.
And one of the things that everyone has to remember, Trump is an asshole.
Yes, he is.
He's never pretended to not be an asshole, though.
No, he hasn't. You're right.
He was never a politician until he was elected. And you have that going against at least you have the former senator and state senator and community manager being Barack Obama, and that was what he came from, and that one was a very refined politician. The way he spoke very politically. He spoke very well, as the typical words, but like that was the demeanor you expected.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have Trump, who came in, who basically kind of like proves the point, like, oh yeah, well, fucking, he'll say hell, he'll curse, he'll say crude comments, he'll joke with the audience like every time he speaks,
and he'll chat.
Like,
he'll literally chat shit with the journalists. I
Oh,
should now
he
just say, Stuart Meatball in the chat, Trump is the ultimate mad lad.
Stuart.
When Trump leaves, Dank has to do one on him. He has to. Just the fact he became president after hosting a TV show for so many years. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it or mini Mad Lab. No, it had to be a full one. But you know what?
No. Honestly, I fully expect Trump. You know how he wrote The Art of the Deal, and that was like a bestseller book, and people like, I understand there's some level of controversy over whether or not he wrote it or he ghost wrote it, whatever. I guarantee you, after he leaves, after 40 years, there's going to be a memoir about Trump as a president.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a best-selling fucking novel.
Oh, yeah, 4 or 8 years. It doesn't matter. That book will do numbers. Yeah.
Regardless. And so, even if he even loses in 2020, which I really, really doubt.
By the way, if those words age poorly, please do clip it and send it to me.
And me.
I'm kidding. I tend to agree with Trups. I'm struggling to see. This is the point, really. It's that Trump can, at his rallies, just speak. I haven't seen any of Biden's rallies.
He doesn't have them. He has press meetings. That's about it.
Yeah, this is what... And you know why? Because he can't...
used to have rallies prior to COVID.
Yeah, I guess he's doing the whole social distancing. He can still have rallies, but they'd have to be, very careful. I think...
Honestly, and this is kind of not his fault, but I think COVID did absolutely terrible for an aging man's mind. So
you mean the same guy who's anti-vaccine in one stead while also being pro-vaccine? I just want to point out, on Wednesday I did a PMQ stream. Under it is one comment claiming that I am peddling the hoax that is COVID-19, to which I think I loved the comment, and then when they got a bit weird because I'd loved it, they replied again, and they asked me why, and I said, because I love you. And they got a bit triggered by that. Worth it. I will not be. I will not be getting into the debate of whether or not COVID-19 is real or not. I will not be getting involved in whether or not there is a pandemic or a plandemic, whether we are sheeple, whether we are herd, and whether or not we are being controlled. We are being controlled. Of course we fucking are. Have you seen the Coronavirus Act?
Haven't not been controlled.
Right. We are not citizens in the UK. We are subjects to the crown. We don't have freedom here.
Ha!
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know, right? I know. But that's it's the fact.
We got over that thought 300 years ago.
Well done. But in the UK, that is a statement of fact. The Coronavirus Act is a guarantee of control. And sadly, until this... And this is the problem. Until the numbers go down entirely or it's been utterly eradicated, that act is always going to exist, sadly. So it could be a hoax. I guess that means the government has won. Well done if you believe that. If not, yeah, sorry, I just wanted to put the tinfoil hat idea out there for a while. Because, seriously, it sustains me, okay?
Oh, yeah, you gotta go tinfoil hatty just a little bit sometimes. Because
yeah.
The last thing you want is to have thought something and been like, I knew this would happen, and then you watch it happen, and you're like, fuck, I didn't say it. I thought it. I didn't say it. I could have been like, I was fucking right. But I like that. I like doing that. Like mentioning my tinfoil hat conspiracies. Like, for example, my tinfoil hat conspiracy was that I believe that COVID-19 wasn't necessarily one strain of COVID-19. I thought it was a lot of different strains that had multiple mutations that had varying degrees of severity. That's why you had some people who would get very, very sick in a very short amount of time and experience a whole multitude of symptoms, and some people who would have very little symptoms, or they would have strange symptoms. Like one of them was that the top of your feet would itch. You would lose your sense of smell. These were different symptoms that they had talked about. And so my theory was that there were different mutations of the germ, of the virus, and that depending on which one you were exposed to, you would have different level of severity of symptoms. I have no idea if that's true, but as it turns out, I think like 2 weeks ago, they talked about how there were different mutations of coronavirus. And I was like, I fucking knew it!
Don't. I was half tempted to, in this week's twat, talk about the Chinese scientist, or Hong Kong scientist, or whatever she was, who got suspended from Twitter because she said that, and released a paper saying it was created in China in a lab.
I mean, at the very least, it was cultivated there.
I then decided not to do it, even though it's a good topic, because I know damn well now my audience is right down the middle. Half of them are very much on my side, and the other half are very... Well, okay, not on my side. So half of them believe in just taking precautions. Just do that, things will get better. Glass half full. The other half are like, you guys are all fucking stupid. Don't wear masks. Don't sanitize. Just live your life. Be free. And this is causing... So that's why I stopped talking about coronavirus on the main channel, because it's just cancer. I can't... Right now, I need to fix my channel. I can't do that. So it's a bit of an odd one, I'll be honest. I should now say, for the sake of it, the UK infection rate is now up 37% to over, which it's actually at the peak of where it was last time when we went to lockdown, of over 6,000. Bad one, yes. It's just, it's an unfortunate, and whether that's real or not, that's up for debate with others. I'm not offering an opinion on whether or not the infection rate is real or not. I'm really not. I can't be asked. It's exhausting, because that means then I have to get into an argument with somebody who thinks it's not real or thinks it is real, and I'm not sitting on the fence. I'm just refusing to give an opinion on it.
I mean, the simple fact is, in that context, I don't have access to that information.
No, the government hasn't released it, oddly enough. They're very quiet in this country on it.
No, and like even in the US, like all these theories exist, and I'm sure there are even more extreme ones. But I don't know the answer. I can pretend, I can guess, but how the fuck should I know?
Yeah.
Like I'm a guy on YouTube. I have no insider information as to like, oh, here's what the government, the FEC, fucking no, not the Federal Election Commission, you fucking idiot. The FDC. Yeah, Food and Drug Commission, and the CDC have found about coronavirus. Look at all this information that I have that apparently like nobody else did, but I don't have that. So there's no point in being conspiratorial.
Morris Minor, and one of my oldest subscribers, you are, Morris Minor. Hi. National Health England said for February.
Now.
Indeed. September, only 307 people died of COVID under 60 without an underlying health condition. That is oddly specific, because sadly, most people have an underlying health condition, which does, of course, distort the numbers a little bit. I don't want to, by the way, get stuck on this subject. There are other things I'd like to talk about.
It's fine.
It's just one of those things that's cropped up, and it's quite interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And sadly, like, people won't pay attention to stats either, which is what really pisses me off.
Oh,
they
no.
won't pay
That's
attention
a
to
racist.
that. Indeed. Let's not talk about that part. So I'm not, by the way, devaluing what you're saying, Morris, because I had oddly seen those as well. But I'm very much aware at the same time, people aren't interested in that. They want what they believe to be true. Even if the facts are put in front of them, because they'll be like, oh, well, now it's time to assassinate the author of this paper to somehow, devalue it. Okay, right. Well, we'll move on from that then. Dickheads.
This is a TikTok virus.
Oh,
Thanks,
jeez.
Kev.
TikTok is a virus, though. You're right.
Well, TikTok actually does virus-like things, being that it mines your data, so it's actually quite like a Trojan. So,
Well said. Well said.
interestingly enough, that's actually accurate.
Okay, so should we move on?
Yeah, you want to talk about this Q over 7,000 thing? Because I have no idea what the fuck
Right.
this is.
Okay. Right. Okay. I live near Dover, right? Dover is the biggest port in the United Kingdom. Everyone knows this. It is very busy. When I was sat at the lighthouse on a bike ride, stopped at Lighthouse in St Margaret's, which is actually just around the corner from Dover, I saw dozens of monstrous ferries leaving. I saw tankers leaving. I saw lots of boats. Oh, excuse me. I saw lots of boats leaving and arriving. I also saw a refugee boat dinghy up to the shore. That pissed me off. They fled like locusts. It was weird. And when my sister took me and my other sister, my niece's nephew, to the zoo, Howlett Zoo, she was on the left hand side of the road because we drive on the right side though, going to Dover. There was a queue of trucks. Now, the interesting thing about this queue was there was actually 2 crashes because 2 drivers fucked it, but they weren't the problem. No, the government had introduced a system in case of no deal, and because of that, there was a system in place, and this system had caused delays and obviously a backlog of 7,000 trucks. Well, it wasn't quite that, but this queue was long enough that by the time we got to Canterbury, it only then just started to thin out. Now, the reason why is because because of Brexit, there's the belief that truckers or freight trucks, 70% of those will be like unprepared for new border controls, which obviously includes short straits, which would be Dover to Calais and the Eurotunnel. The EU is going to do is believed to be doing full goods controls, which will stop all freight without correct documentation at the end of the transition period next year in January. So basically January 1st. This is believed, but because of that belief, it's already started because the government had tried to introduce another a worst case scenario situation, which has caused the truckers to back up a little. The problem here is, and what makes it worse is, lorry drivers are going to have to maybe get a Kent access permit. What we mean by this is, Kent, the county I live in, the equivalent of a US state, there's a certain level of autonomy, but not too much. It's going to have a border. Kent to Surrey and London is going to have a border. It's going to have, essentially, Kent may as well just stay in the EU at this point, to ensure that international haulers. That's what they're saying. This is what they're saying. That international haulers will need a Kent access permit or a CAP to get into our country and by extension the county. This was confirmed by the SNEC Michael Gove, who said that it was in a letter, I believe, but they'll need a permit and that police and ANPR cameras, automatic number plate recognition, will be enforcing this system. British drivers or foreign who travel from like the Midlands will also need to get a permit before they arrive in Kent if they intend to board a ferry or Eurotunnel train. Now, this scheme is due to be approved last week, but it doesn't mean it has been yet, but it will be soon. The government plans, so the issue is the cap will be released only to drivers who have completed all the paperwork to board a ferry. Right, the system is proposed to be enforced in Kent with a £300 fine for port-bound HGVs that travel without a permit. Which, I'll be honest, £300 isn't going to hurt them too much. But if they still have to obey EU rules on truck driving, it could do. Someone though, quite an eagle eye, coincidental because the person in question is called Angela Eagle, noticed that if you're going to do this, someone now has to patrol the Kent border to make sure that no lorry goes into Kent if it hasn't got that necessary paperwork. Have you got a license to cross into our county? No.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like, doesn't it?
You got a license? Fuck off.
Why are they from Birmingham?
No, that really isn't. It's not Birmingham. No, Kent has a few accents. That one I hear quite a lot. Yes, they're just weird.
By the way, for the chat, I want to let you know that every time I hear a British accent that I don't recognize, I will message Meg.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have him explain to me what accent I'm listening
to.
to.
In Twat, Augie, YouTuber, he mentioned no British person ever sounds menacing, and the problem with that is what he actually meant to say was English. Now he could include Welsh and Northern Irish, but if you want to go with a really thick Northern English accent or a really thick Scottish accent, they're terrifying. They are genuinely terrifying, and I think it depends on. I mean, sure, I know he did it just to get a response, and that's fine, but in reality, there are very threatening English accents. There are very threatening Scottish accents, but he said British, so he got it wrong. Now, back onto this for a second. The issue here is that where is it? I've got it. Borders, concern, physical checks. Gove. Oh, right. He's right. Gove has written to the hauliers, the truckers, confirming that this is happening. But Gove has warned the Sneck that there will be a 2-day delay for cargo travelling to the EU through Dover or Folkestone, and he's described it, and this is not a joke, he considers a 2-day delay as a reasonable worst-case scenario. What the fuck is reasonable about a trucker being stuck for 2 days? What are they going to get? Unless they're carrying food and I'll be honest, they're not going to be able to use a toilet because there aren't any toilets built into their trucks. They're going to be peeing into empty Pepsi bottles. That's not a joke. They are, and if they need a dump, it's going to get really creative. That's not a joke either because they don't have. I mean, American trucks don't either have toilets unless they're custom done, right? But our trucks are smaller. They don't have space to walk about or anything. So it's just really, I don't know, it's not good. But the fact is these queues have happened and they've been going on for weeks now. And I thought it was entertaining because, yeah, this turns out it was a government idea that got put through. It caused panic and then there were a few accidents. And it's stacked up, and it's caused a lot of road issues. And the funny part here is, in the UK, we have so I cycle down country lanes to get to Dover. It's a lot easier. Problem is, at best, one car can fit down these roads. So 2 cars are going opposite way, are coming towards each other. Yeah, they're little like alcoves you can sort of dip into to make a bit of space for the other person. It's still a stress, but you can do it. Cyclist, not so difficult. I can just go down there. They can go past me. It takes a second. It's fine. Some of these truck drivers have been doing this. Problem here is other trucks have been coming the other way. That truck can barely fit down that road at the best of times. They're not fitting down there with another truck coming the other way, and they sure as fuck aren't getting out of the way in time. I promise you that. Causing even more backlogs to the point where when my sister dropped me off at the zoo, she had to take the single most creative route to get back. And I'm not joking. I had to plot the route based on which roads I had learnt had been causing issues. And she was lucky to get home in time for work. To the point where my other sister and I, when we left the zoo, we had to walk from there to the train station on a main road with no pathway, with prams and children, because we couldn't get my sister to come pick us up. Although, to be honest, she could have.
So what I'm hearing is government planning strikes again.
Government planning, top tip. I'll be honest, I've got another one in a minute about planning. Fuck me. Oh, there is another government plan in motion. So perhaps I'll go to this next if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, gave a statement in Parliament a few days ago. Yesterday, maybe. Yes, it was yesterday. And so, as many know, self-employment income support scheme, which is what I was able to claim twice because I lost all my cleaning work. I have one contract now, and only one. So I have been adversely affected, and it's horrifically painful. Which is why I've tried so hard to work on my YouTube channels. It's why I'm always seeking to improve. Genuinely, I'm putting in a concerted effort to improve as much as I can, and that's because I need this. I don't need it to work. I don't mean in that sense of like wings, which someone has very kindly reminded me could happen if I ever got that way. No, it's more until I'm able to get enough cleaning work, I have to use it to offset. So I have to be smart about it. But
everyone subscribe to Omegon.
Yes, please do. I'm still down about 138. No, 37. It might be 38 by now. I haven't checked my phone.
YouTube's fucking them.
Yeah, they are, basically. I'm feeling them in my bottom. With the furlough ending as well in October, people are worried because lockdown has started coming back, hasn't it, in the country? Areas of the country are already under heavy restrictions. The pub I clean closes an hour earlier, which means their staff are now getting paid, losing 2 hours pay because they normally stay an extra hour to clean the pub. They're not getting that, and so it's hurting them. People are, and with all these additional restrictions, it's, no lube, it's just wrist to elbow. And it's really unfortunate that it's happening, but because of that, people have rightly pointed out, Anneliese Dodd, the Shadow Chancellor, has pointed out, there needs to be something to help. So what the government has decided is a job support scheme. It's a 6-month scheme. It will start on the 1st of November for those that work. So we'll take, for the sake of it, we're going to come up with a random name. We're going to go with Judge TrupsLP. Let's say Judge TrupsLP works 9 to 5. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, which is a lie. He works many more hours than that. Okay? From November, TrupsLP will be asked to work less. Precisely 13.3 hours a week, or 2 hours, 38 minutes a day. The intention is, though, Jane, that's the name on the article, I just want to use you instead. Judge TrupsLP will pay for reduced hours they now works. The employer will pay a third of the unpaid work. Right? The government will pay a third as well. But that does mean that there'll be unpaid hours of nearly 2 a day where you're not getting paid, which means you're getting paid 77% of your working day. Instead, the government is now willing to pay up to about £697 per month for 3 months. Well, I say 6 months because that's how long I reckon this will go on for. For self-employed people, they're going to do one more one-off payment. Okay? So, when I got my first payment, it was for 80% based on my 3 previous tax returns, which didn't include my most recent one, which meant I got very little. Because my more recent tax return, which really hurts because losing all the cleaning work has made paying my tax bill incredibly difficult. But I'm getting there. I've just got about 1,500 left to pay. Jeez, it's painful, especially. It's very painful. So I got 70% on the second payment. Would you now like to guess what I will get for the third and final payment that and I'll preface this by saying Rishi Sunak said when asked about supporting people's jobs, he said, I cannot save every business, I cannot save every job, which he's quite right to say. So some people in the chat will know this already, so please don't spoil it. What do you think the percentage is that I, as a self-employed man, will be entitled to claim when this all comes into effect?
I'm going to guess and say 30 to 40%.
Incorrect. Try again.
Damn it. Higher or lower?
I'm not going to say.
Fuck. 20%.
Oh, you're so close. That
19%.
was 19%. No. You were right. So originally it was listed as 20%, but it's actually 22%. Damn. To give this little context, I will now share with you, because I may as well be zero to be fair. I will now tell you what that's worth to me. £365. That's all I get. Which is fine, because I could just put that on the tax bill. But that's what I will get.
Man, if only you were a 10-year-old kid, you'd be fucking rich.
Right? I'd be buying so many bloody Haribo and blackjacks and fruit salads. Other people will get, because they're obviously full-time employees, they've got contract jobs. I get it. I'm self-employed. I don't get help, realistically. That's fine. I accept it. But it's a drop from 70% to 22%. But I get it, because at the same time, the government is only paying a third of unworked hours. That's all they're doing. And so I kind of get it, but it doesn't really cover much, which is quite unfortunate. But it's interesting, because many have already pointed out, this will not help many industries that cannot work this year. Music has taken a pummeling, theatre a pummeling.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll be surprised if any of them are up and running next. If they are next year, they're all going to be sold out, and they're all going to be sold out consistently for the year. I've got a gig on May 1st next year, and I'm desperate for it to work. I need it. This band, I haven't seen them in like 8 years. I need to go to this gig. I have to go. I want a blow-off. I just want to go and have some fun.
Oh, dude, if you imagine, right? Okay, so think about the United States right now, and think of like our shows like Burning Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about after all this coronavirus goes down, how much drugs and sex is going to happen at Burning Man, and there's already a lot.
Mate, the moment I go to a funeral for a friend, I swear I'm going into a mosh pit. It's going to be fun. Me and the brother-in-law going, we're getting fucking smashed. There's just no... Everyone wants to blow some steam.
No.
Yeah, sure. That wet-ass pussy. No, I just want to have some fun, and I haven't been able to in so long.
Demonetized.
Yeah. Yeah. My apologies for demonetizing the stream by saying wet-ass pussy. Point is...
Yes,
if
but the
gigs and
Vivo
venues-
account, don't ask them.
Yeah. The point is, though, if the music industry can survive... They're getting fuck all money from this. If they can survive this... venues, gigs will just be sold out all year. There's no way they won't be, because people will need to blow off this energy. And I'm no exception to this. I just want to get out, because I'm just working and that's about it.
I feel you, dude. I mean, me and the fiance have basically wanted to just go out and do things. So while I'm gone, one of her friends is coming down, and they're gonna go do things because I haven't been able to go out and do things because all I've been doing was working.
I tell you something, because I haven't heard you LARP in a while.
I have not. The LARP has been closed since April. No. Well, yeah, it was because we played in March. Like we actually physically were there in March, and then April it had been shut down pending future results, and then by June it was permanently shut down for the year.
Yeah, so I feel really bad for a lot of industries that have taken this hit, and yeah, I never got to go LARPing. I wanted to, and that was on the list of things to do if I ever got to the States with Trups. Actually, only shooting apparently.
It's fun, yeah. Well, we can still that part we can still do. Yeah. I know that my gun range down the street still is open.
Oddly, I mentioned I found my passport application work in the bakery. The guy still hasn't filled it in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in during the week and just be like, "Oi, you fucking prick! Fill in my fucking paperwork."
Thought.
He's too old for that.
Oh
no, I will literally just call him a prick and tell him to get dumb. He can be a MILF. I'll tell him to get. I'll just call him a prick. It'll be easier. I just can't be arsed with this.
Bellend is one of my favorite British insults.
It's a good one. If you, by the way, people in the chat can hear lots of alerts. Apparently, now my computer decided to tell me about Facebook Messenger alerts I've already had now. Yeah. Teddy, 'tis been a while, dearest Meggles. Hello. I shall be testing pedals tomorrow, by the way. He made me a load of clone pedals, and I'm looking with my name on in various forms.
Oh, you're that guy.
He's that
I
guy,
was told
yeah.
about that. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate your work.
Before we finish, because we've hit the hour mark, you mentioned before we went
Yeah.
live, I have 10 beers that I got. I have this monthly subscription box to Beer 52. Is it beer? Yeah, Beer 52. And I get 10 beers every month. This week, a month even, it's beers from the States. So, shall I now name a couple of it? Well, some of them are actually similar manufacturers, different types. I will now name them, and you can tell me if you've heard of them. Yeah?
Yeah.
Evil Twin Brewing.
Nope.
Okay, well, there's a few of those, and they were Great South Bay.
Yes. Cursory information, I know of it. Yes.
Captain Lawrence Brewing Company. It's a
Possibly.
It's a lager. I like the sound of that. Newburgh.
Yes.
Okay. Oh no, there's another Captain Lawrence, another Great South Bay. Oh, hang on, what's this bottle? Okay. Brooklyn Bel Air Sour.
No, I have not heard of that.
Okay, so there were a few that are made by Evil Twin Brewings. There's a couple from South Bay, couple Captain Lawrence, and couple Newburghs. So
Actually, I may have heard of Evil Twin.
their cans.
Just the brewing company. I may have heard of the company.
Okay,
I'm
so
just trying to think of like
the can. One has got
individual ones.
James beer on it. One has all. I hope this pale ale finds you well, and the other one says, "Ye old stout will never go out of style." They're on the. They're one of those. At least they're doing Comic Sans, I guess. The lager one has me interested because it actually looks like a nice can. It looks like a can of beer. Right, it looks nice. Yeah, I'll try one on Sunday.
The presentation is well done.
Yeah, they all look nice actually. To be fair, last month's was Netherlands. Still got a couple of those left. I've got a bottle of Hugs and Kisses. Yeah, it's not a joke. It's actually next to me on the floor because I meant to give it to somebody else on a bike ride. One of my brother-in-law's mates, and I was going to give him some hugs and kisses and make him really awkward. I now have to wait for the payoff on that joke. Okay, yeah, sorry about the beeps. Apparently Facebook Messenger I've already seen these messages. It's now popping them again. I do apologise. We are done. Is there anything you, Trups, would like to shill?
I have nothing that I'm going to shill because I'm going to be out of my usual location for the next week. So even if I wanted to do a video, I would not be able to.
Please consider subscribing to TrupsLP. He will be making content at some point.
Yeah, maybe when my life becomes a little bit more sane. But I still show up here, and that's what really matters.
It does to me, because I love doing this. I myself have nothing to shill. There's a new King Pest, new story called King Pest on Moisky Reads. It's Edgar Allan Poe. It took a while to do because I had stuff to do, and it oddly reminds me of coronavirus for some reason, because it involves quarantining areas of places and people living within it, which I think is fantastic. There was a new video on main channel called This Week at Twitter, or Twat, and if you, by all means, please consider swinging by and watching those and giving them a listen even. I greatly appreciate it. And if you could, I beg, please don't unsubscribe. I'm done here. Okay. Say goodnight. Thank you for joining, everyone. Say goodnight, Judge Trupsy Wupsy.
Good night, Judge Trupsy Wupsy.
Oh, and Chaos just subscribed to you.
Thanks, Chaos.
Good night, Judge Trupsy Wupsy.